Hello everybody, this is Stefan playing some World of Tanks, and today we're going to be covering the Soviet heavy tank, the KV-2. This tank has a 152mm gun at tier 6, which is quite unique considering that only one other tank has it, that other tank being the OI, which I currently have not researched, but I've heard it's decent. So, compared to the OI, this tank may seem like it's losing, but it has one huge advantage: the fact that it's not Japanese, but Soviet, so it takes full advantage of that Soviet bias present in the game, and a lot of the shots you make will actually land because this is a Soviet tank. Of course, this is unconfirmed, but I believe this is the case, and it has been proven time and time again while I've been playing this tank. So let's get started talking about its stats. As I said before, this tank has an amazing 152mm gun at tier 6, which can pretty much one-shot most of its opponents, tier for tier, and do heavy damage on opponents of higher tiers. Uh, you will want to run this gun mostly with high explosive rounds. However, you can opt out for some AP rounds. I chose to go with the premium ones because why the hell not? This is a great tank, and so I'm willing to spend money on it. But with high explosive shells, if you don't one-shot, you will do about 400 damage reliably. This gun, however, has a massive trade-off. Its aiming time, accuracy, and DPM are quite low, and so you will struggle hitting shots fully aimed. However, as I mentioned before, the Soviet bias will help you out quite a bit here because accuracy doesn't matter if the shell always hits. Uh, so the reload time is another huge detriment. It has a 20-second reload time even with a fully trained crew and some vents. And so you will have to play very carefully on this tank since if you try to rush, you will get shot down before you can fire your second shot. So this tank, while being a heavy tank, is quite weak in terms of armor. It has only 75mm of hull and turret armor, and it's mostly unsloped, so you will be taking in most of the shots that hit you, unlike other heavy tanks on tier 6 like the OI. This tank's mobility is really nothing much. Uh, it has a decent top speed of 35 kilometers an hour. However, its horsepower to ton ratio is horrendous, and its resistance values also don't help with this. So you will be slugging around for the entire battle, and you can't even accelerate really downhill because of your lowish top speed. Concealment is again something you can't really brag about. It has values in the single digits, and due to the fact that you have a massive gun, your concealment when firing goes down to nearly zero, and so even if you're hanging out behind bushes, you will get spotted and shot at. So be ready to retreat. This tank is also blind, so you will also need to rely on team support for spotting your targets, as any tank will likely outspot you. As for the crew, it's a pretty standard heavy tank crew layout. You go for repairs first, and then train your skills slash perks for your entire crew. This tank does, however, have a problem with its crew. It has two loaders, and so you have a higher chance of one of them being knocked out when someone hits you, and you can't really take that hit to your reload time, considering it's so low already. You will also run out of skills to research for your loaders, considering that they really don't have many skills. And I would also argue that the skills they do have are quite weak compared to some of the other ones, since the situations in which you would use the skills are quite rare, save for maybe safe storage. Overall, you will want to increase the characteristics of your gun as much as possible, so I would recommend going for a gun rammer, a gun laying drive, and some vents. Since increasing other characteristics of this tank will be borderline useless. As for the ammunition, you will go for mainly high explosive rounds, as this will likely be what you're firing most of the time. You might want to go for some premium AP rounds, but if you do plan to play with AP rounds, you will struggle quite a bit more with the awful accuracy, since with high explosive rounds, you only need to hit the vehicle in any location for them to do splash damage. I've also noticed that this vehicle gets set on fire quite a bit, so I recommend going for some automatic fire extinguishers. However, you might want to go for combat rations to enhance your performance with your gun. And so now that we've went over the theory of this tank, I will jump into some gameplay and show you how awesome this tank can really be. Alright, let's get started. So, for the first battle, I'm going to be playing an Overlord. I have some tier 7 tanks to deal with, as well as tier 5s. Most of the tier 6 and under tanks I will be able to one-shot. However, the tier 7s will likely cause some issues. So right now I get spotted. It is most likely due to the T-71, since, as we will find out later, the Chaffee is hanging around right there. I hid for a bit to try to get the artillery off of me, since getting struck in artillery in this tank is a pain in the ass. So right now we see that SU-100Y, that SU-100Y does not spot us. So we aim, we fire, and we one-shot, as we always do. Well, not always, but most of the time that is going to be the case. Since our penetration is surprisingly decent due to our extremely large caliber, 152 millimeters means 86 millimeters of penetration. Now our gun is damaged, we shoot, and we one-shot once again. It's 2 for 2 right now, and while I'm not dedicated to making sure that every shot counts, I will So now I write in the chat, 2 shots, 2 one-shots, and that is certainly the case. I try to peek to see that IS, since I do want to get some nice damage in. I see him, I aim. He tries to turn around, however, I sneak back before he can sneak out a shot at me. So right now we ended the streak of, shot for kill. However, we did do some nice damage, and so, that's always a good thing. Now I push up. I see that there's no one here, and so I can afford to play a little aggressively. I see that T-34-85 right there, and so I try to go for him. I lose the spot right as I get to him, and so I pre-aim. I see that Hellcat, and I start aiming for him. I don't risk it and try to take the shot over the rooftop. However, once he peeks back out, I shoot and I kill him. If he did not have, if he was not damaged, I would have still killed him. So, that could be considered a one shot. I see that T1 heavy. I go for the kill. I aim. I know I have time, and so I shoot and kill him. Now I have 4 kills, the most of my team, and I likely have more damage done than the rest of my team as well. So now I get shot at by the T-34-85. I sneak. I try to swoop in a shot. However, he stays behind the bunker, and so I'm unable to shoot him. And now I get shots fired from the VK-3001. I don't see him since my view range is quite terrible, and so I'm trying to wait around for someone to spot the tanks over there so I can shoot and likely kill him. So I hang around here for a bit. I see that T-34-85. He, however, is behind the bunker, and I believe that he does get killed before I can try to sneak a shot in. I'm patient, so I wait around for a bit. However, it now seems that our base is being captured, and so I turn back. and head to cap. That Chaffee can kill. That Chaffee can end up in us losing. I've had quite a bit of battles lost because my team hasn't headed back to base when we're being captured. Also, that Chaffee does have some pretty nice camo. Now I aim at the Chaffee, I fire, and I kill him, as you do. And surprisingly enough, I don't even get spotted for it. So, you know, it's quite nice. I get some damage done, a kill, and no punishment for it. Now I head down there to try to kill that T-150. I realize that I cannot one-shot the IS, and so I will want to do as much damage to the enemy team as I can right now. So I aim carefully at the T-150, I shoot, and I kill him. Now that IS is more of a threat now, due to the fact that he packs a 120mm gun, as I've realized, and so if he shoots at me, he will end up killing me. Now I aim, I fire, but I miss, which is quite unfortunate. Since, you know, for the past 8 shots or so, I've been lucky. And so I thought, you know, why the hell not? Let's fire. So this time I aim more carefully and fire to secure the kill. So I get people writing in the chat, nice, which is great. I get 7 kills in this game and quite a bit of damage. I write in the chat that the VK was last over here, since that is where he was firing at me from. However, I do not have enough time to reach him, actually, and so my team ends up killing him. I have to mention that the next battle will come right after this one chronologically, and these 2 battles will be the first 2 battles played today, so it's great. Alright, thank God this is working. I've had to restart OBS twice. I was running into some issues, and so hopefully this time I'll be able to talk my way through this and not have any issues. So let's get started. Right now, I'm going to be playing on Mountain Pass. This is a replay, obviously, and so I know what's going to happen, and I can tell you this. Joseph Stalin is a great man that lands all my shots. Nearly all of them. And we'll get to see that. So, right now we're going to go to this standard position between the 2 mountains. And it's going to take a while because this tank's speed is quite pathetic. So right now, I see the Tiger. I try to shoot at him. However, I fail, which is unfortunate, however likely, since it is a nearly 500-meter shot at a moving target that I can't even completely see. So before me goes the Thunderbolt. He's much faster, however, he is clearly much dumber since he goes right into the J Panther's web and gets shot while doing nearly nothing in return. So I wait for the 60 GFT to fire, and then I shoot at him. I kill him, and it's no problem. However, the Thunderbolt dies as well, which is not that bad considering that he's clearly a terrible player. So right now I wait for the Tiger to shoot. Actually I don't, because the Tiger doesn't even get to shoot once. However, I do manage to put a shot into him, dealing 328 damage, which is always great. So the Tiger, knowing my reload, decides to try to sneak on through. However, he does not realize that my crew is 100% and I have a gun rammer / fence, so he does not manage to make it through to the other side. So now I think that the Tiger is going to try to pop up over here and try to get a shot at me. However, there's a T-34-85M, which I bumped into earlier, that's keeping him over there. I see the J Panther, I shoot at him, I hit, however, he misses, even though his stabilization is supposed to be much better than mine. But, Soviet bias, as always. So right now I try to go in for the second shot, and in fact I managed to kill him. He does get a shot out at me, but it's all good. He kills my radio operator, who I met up, even though it's likely unnecessary. But since there's really no other tanks over here, I should be able to recharge my medkit before encountering any other tanks. So now that Tiger is smart. He sees that I'm coming, and so he backs away and tries to track me. However, I have a repair kit that I have not used yet, and so I'm able to take advantage of that and kill him. So right now I do a little something dumb. I don't see this rock behind the bushes, and even when I do, I try to come over it. Clearly unsuccessful, considering the 11 horsepower per ton this tank does have. And so I turn around and go around the rock. Now this is one of the moments which I will showcase for the clear Russian bias present in this game. I'm aiming, out of sight, and I try to hit that leopard. However, the shot lands perfectly on the OI experimental, nearly killing him. In fact, I will show this replay again from the point of view of a fully zoomed in sniper. So let's see that. I shoot, I aim right here, and the shot goes perfectly over in that direction, catching the experimental as he moves. This shot had about a 50% chance of actually hitting the T-34-85, but I was fine with that since, I bumped into him earlier and I did not have a good impression of him. So now I go ahead, and you see that KV-2 is one-shot level. So I go in, and right as I'm reloading, I'm lighting up my shot at the KV-2. I see the green, I fire, but ironically enough, I kill one of our guys. Let's see that again. So coming up to here, I am just nearly reloaded. I see that KV-2. I aim my gun right at him. I don't fire right away. I try to get a better shot. However, I don't manage to get a better shot since I'm in third person. The shot goes straight into the T-71's rear, and I kill him. Funnily enough. So it's pretty obvious that when there's a higher chance of something happening, it doesn't happen. But when the contrary is true, it does happen. So yeah. KV-2, Lord of RNGesus. I actually write in chat, lol rip, as an apology to the T-71. In fact, I message him later and say sorry, and he's like, okay, no problem. So it's all good. So yeah. In conclusion, this tank is amazing. In fact, this is my second favorite tank in the game after the ELC AMX BIS. And I have about 600 battles with this tank. The lack of more than one stripe on the barrel is just a result of the fact that about 400 of those battles were played when I was about 10. And so I was clearly not a good player when I was 10 years old. The rest of these battles were half and half between serious damage dealing battles and just lol whatever battles. And I've had quite a few other shots hit on this glorious tank. However, all those replays are from previous versions, and it's quite a hassle to try to get those replays up and running. So you unfortunately will not get to see them. So this was Stefan. Please like, subscribe, follow the channel, I'll be putting out a lot of other content in the future, including Stellaris content, which I'm going to release in a couple days as a continuation to my series as the Determined Exterminators. So stay tuned for that. So thanks for watching, and bye bye.